we start with the last and the remaining portion of our chapter. So what we are going to do today is the temperature of air is not the same in all places. The Earth's axis is tilted at an angle of 66.5 degrees to its orbital plane, which we have already studied before. So that is the reason in the summer season, the sun's rays falls vertically on the Earth's surface. So the temperature is high. Whereas during the winter, the sun's rays fall obliquely on the Earth's surface. So the temperature drops. The angle at which the sunlight strikes the Earth's surface is called the angle of incidence of sunlight on Earth. The portion of the Earth where the sunlight falls perpendicularly means vertically, it is warmer. Whereas the angle of incidence is greater, the temperature is less. So places which are receiving highly oblique rays of the sun are very cold throughout the year. That is, very oblique rays are received by the two extreme poles, that is the North Pole and the South Pole. So they remain to be cold throughout the year. Now look at the picture that is given in your textbook, that is page 51, left hand side. It shows that when there is vertical or perpendicular rays of sun, it has more heat on a smaller area or a smaller zone. But when oblique or slanting rays of the sun falls, it has less heat on a bigger area. Similarly, another diagram on the same page on your right hand side explains that the vertical rays of the sun falls on the equatorial region. So the equatorial region experiences more heat. Near to the poles, you will find more of oblique rays. So it is very cold all through. Then the places receiving the oblique rays of the sun have relatively less heat during the summer. There is a drop in temperature with the increase in height. The Earth's surface is heated up by the energy from the sun. As one moves higher up, the colder it gets. So the temperature falls at the rate 1 degree centigrade for every 165 meters or by 6.5 degrees centigrade for every 1000 meters. This conversion you must remember, because on basis of this conversion we will be doing certain sums, alright, which I'll be discussing later. Next, the places near the sea, that is proximity means near the sea, it experiences moderate type of climate, that is neither hot, neither too hot, neither too cold. It all happens due to the influence of the sea. So in these places the range of temperature is never high. So the cities like Delhi and Mumbai. So what do you think, among which city has the moderate climate and which one has the extreme climate? By now I think you have understood that is Mumbai, which is located near the Arabian Sea. So Mumbai has a moderate type of climate because with the effect of the sea. Whereas Delhi, which is located at the center of our country, so it experiences extreme type of weather or climate rather. That is, when there is summers, it experiences extreme heat, and when there is winter, it also experiences extreme cold. Now if you look at the diagram on the left hand side, it clearly depicts and reflects that how temperature is dropping with the or falling as one is rising up from the sea level. Next, we move on to isotherms. Isotherms are imaginary lines that are drawn on a map joining the places with the same temperature. When there is difference in temperature is more between two places, the isotherms are closely spaced, that is closely they are drawn. And when the difference is less, the isotherms are widely drawn or widely spaced. As there are more water bodies in the southern hemisphere, the isotherms in this hemisphere are situated farther away as compared to the northern hemisphere. Isotherms are also parallel lines and they never touch or intersect with each other. Now, next audio will be, we move on to the heat belts of the world. Okay? In this audio, I will be discussing about the heat belts of the world. Now, temperature decreases gradually from the equator towards the pole. This is because of the differences in the angle of incident of sunlight. This angle of incident has been explained to you in my earlier audio. Now, listen carefully. The earth has been divided into 3 heat belts on the basis of the amount of heat it receives from the sun. So mainly there are 3 heat belts. One is the torrid zone, second is the temperate zone, and third is the frigid zone. The torrid zone is the regions which lie on the either side of the equator, that is between the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn. Here the sunlight falls vertically throughout the year in this belt, and the earth's surface gets most heated up here. So you can understand the places which lie between this zone have warmer summers, right? Next we move on to the temperate zone. The belts between the Tropic of Cancer and the Arctic Circle and between the Tropic of Capricorn and the Antarctic Circle are known as the temperate zones. Sunlight falls obliquely here, so it is cooler than the torrid zone. As this zone receives the oblique rays of the sun, so they don't have extreme type of climate, right? So the summers are relatively much cooler than the torrid zone. Next we move on to the frigid zone. The regions from Arctic Circle to the North Pole and from Antarctic Circle to the South Pole are known as the frigid zone. Sunlight falls here very high oblique angle, and this belt is the least heated belt of the earth, and it remains cold throughout the year. So we have a diagram at page 52. You can see this is where you get a clear picture of the heat belts of the world. Now there is a slight correction. On your left hand side there's a earth drawn which shows North Pole and South Pole, in which on the top it will be, in place of South Temperate Zone it will be North Temperate Zone, and in case of North Temperate Zone it will be South Temperate Zone. And on your right hand side there is also, it is given the world map, and they have depicted the various zones here. So you can understand by looking at that what countries fall within the frigid zone, what countries lie within the North Temperate Zone and the South Temperate Zone, and which countries basically come under the torrid zone. Fine. Now my next audio will be the effect of climate on our lives. Now before I go on to the next topic, that is effect of climate on our lives, since we are reading the heat belts of the world, so you must have an idea about what is a hot desert and what is a cold desert. Now hot desert. Now, in some places there are very less or little rainfall throughout the year. So these places are relatively dry and they are free, or they are devoid of any plant and animal life. These stretches of dry and arid land are called desert. Generally, the amount of rainfall in such areas is less than 10 inches. So we find hot desert in almost all the continents. For instance, you have Sonoran Desert in North America, you have Atacama Desert in South America, the Thar Desert in India and Pakistan, the Sahara Desert in North Africa, Great Victoria Desert in Australia, and etc. Now, what are cold desert? Now, stretches of land that are snow covered, devoid of vegetation, which with scant population and extremely cold temperatures throughout the year, are known as cold desert. So where is it located? Cold desert are located in the higher latitudes. Stretches in Greenland and Alaska in North America, Gobi Desert in northern China, the Iranian Desert in Iran and Afghanistan, and Taklamakan Desert in western China. This audio I will discuss how does climate affect the people in all aspects. Now, the climate of a region has a great impact on the lives of the people of that particular region. That is ranging from what they eat, where they live, what they wear, and all their livelihoods, right? They are all influenced by the climate. Now, perhaps let us, for example, take our topic about the houses or the housing. The houses we live in is greatly affected by the weather. In regions of high rainfall like the equatorial region, the roofs are usually slanted. In the polar regions, houses are made of stones to provide better insulation. Alright. Next is the food. Food habits of people depend greatly on the region they live in. People living in the temperate zones eat cereals, pulses, as farming is possible in this region. But in the frigid zone, since farming is not possible, food is obtained by hunting or by gathering. Next is the clothes. In hot regions, people wear loose cotton clothes, whereas in the colder regions, people wear clothes made of animal fur, and that give better protection from various, tough temperature or very low temperature. Next is livelihood. In equatorial regions, indigenous people are hunter or gatherers and also carry out subsistence farming. So we can understand by the above points that how climate affects the lives of the people throughout the world. Now, as I told you, I'll be discussing about the sum. So there is one sum. If you open the book, page 52, you have a sum there that suppose you are on a mountaineering expedition. You started off from an altitude 2000 meters where the temperature has 15 degrees centigrade. What will be the temperature at 4000 meters? And the clue is given, that is temperature decreases by 6.5 centigrade for every 1000 meters. So this you have to remember. Every time clue won't be provided. So how you solve this sum? First, we have to find out the difference in the altitude of the two places. That is 4000 meters where we are actually heading for, and 2000 meter where we are starting. So the difference between these two is 2000 meters. Now we know that with the rise of every 1000 meter rise in altitude, the temperature falls by how much? By 6.5 degree centigrade. So Therefore, with 2000 meter rise in altitude, the temperature will fall by, that is 6.5 degrees centigrade into 2, that the result will be 13 degrees centigrade. So at 2000 meters, temperature was already, it's given in the sum, 15 degrees centigrade. Now, so therefore at 4000 meter, the temperature will be 15 degrees minus 13 degrees. So what we get is 2 degree centigrade. So this type of sum might come, since it is there in the book, so it's better we solve it. So in my questions also, that is my assignment, home assignment, I'll also provide a sum like this. You have to solve it by yourself. Okay? If you have not understood, you may raise questions. No problem.